Welcome back to another Purpose Served podcast episode. If you just now heard that, that was me playing the drums. If you're seeing that, you obviously seen that was me. Um, that was a one take by me. I decided to set it up. I was feeling good. Just played. Um, but that's the intro, pretty much of how I'm going to start talking about the Purpose Served pyramid. If you are just now tuning in and you're new to the podcast, this podcast is about innovating and improving the human experience through practical means, through your purpose, being the best version of yourself that you possibly can to help yourself, but not only that, to help others and the world around you. You know what I mean? Um, so just to give a recap, um, of the previous podcast episode, I talked about the roadmap, and also the five-step plan of action. And the roadmap has three requirements. The three requirements: you must have a vision. You got to have a destination for your vision, and you must go on a journey from taking that vision to the destination. And the vision is the goal, the destination is the goal realized, and the journey is you, your life, yourself, bringing that thing inside of your head and manifesting it into a physical, actual thing. That's what the roadmap essential purpose is to create intention for you. And the link is in the description below on a better overview of that on the Purpose Served website. And through that, there's a five-step plan of action that correlates with the roadmap. Everything that I'm talking about and going to be talking about going forward is going to be associated with the roadmap, the three requirements. So don't forget that: the vision, the destination, and the journey. Um, the five steps, plan of action, the destination. You need a destination, which we just talked about. If you have the roadmap, then you automatically have the destination, and that's the first requirement. Having a physical place for, what your vision is. Number two is the tools and resources, the facilities, knowledge, skills that you need in order to reach your destination. Um, Number three is the time. So, how long is it going to take you to reach the desired destination? Number four, how consistent must you be to reach the destination? And five, if you haven't reached the destination in that timely manner you set out for yourself, what adjustments do you need to make to get to the destination? With the saying over here is oftentimes it's the approach that has to change, not the destination. Um, so that leaves us now to the purpose served pyramid. And the purpose served pyramid is a foundation and a basis for your wellness, your well being. And ultimately, I talked about this common catchphrase here on a previous podcast episode, but the foundation for your well being, for purpose served, is your emotional well being, your mental well being, your financial well being, and your social well being. And I'm going to be going over these in great depth today. Hope you guys are going to be entertained, informed somewhat, and inspired to take action on your life to do what you have to do. You know what I mean? Even if you're currently doing that as we speak. But I started playing the drums Throwback Thursday in the third, fourth grade. I was one of those meatheads that was influenced by drumline. It's like, nah. But no cap. You know what I mean? Devin Mouse on drumline influenced me to start playing the drums, man. And I was in the fourth grade, and I'm seeing them drum real fast, doing the stick tricks and everything. And obviously, I have no clue the techniques on how to do it, but I did want to do it, you know. So I just be practicing doing just drumming extremely, extremely fast. And slowly but surely I started realizing I couldn't do it. I didn't have those skills and everything. And um I wanted to learn. So my mom got me and my brother drumsticks when I was in the fourth grade. At the time, the first instrument that I played though was the violin, um, because everybody wanted to be a drummer when I was in North, going to Big Maple. So I had to get the violin, but I wasn't feeling the violin. I really wanted the drum. So fast forward a couple months, we ended up moving around a little bit. But the school that I ended up at, George Washington, I ended up learning to play drums there. And also, one of my mom friends, rest in peace to JP, he taught me the basics of drumming and the different types of rudiments, like the single stroke roll. So you're just going left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, double stroke roll, which is something that I use a lot to this day. That's right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. That's called the double stroke roll. And you got a paradiddle. Left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right. Um, triplets, triplet, triplet, triplet. So all of these things, I'm just learning the basic of drumming, learning how to read notes, learning how to read quarter notes, whole notes, half notes, eighth notes, 16th notes. You know what I mean? One, two, three, four. One and two and three and four and one and a two and a three and a four and a like all of these things is crazy enough, man. I can read basic music now, but this is stuff that this is my first obsession. This is drumming was the very, very, very first thing that I loved, and there wasn't no immediate goal at first. I just simply enjoyed doing it. I love drumming. I love seeing people who drum. I had muses at the time, um, growing up. As I began to get really, really good at it, and I want to say by the time I want to say I was in the sixth grade. By the time I was in the sixth grade, 12 years old, I was really, really, really good at drumming. Um, and that carried over to concert band, jazz band. I learned how to read music, which kept putting me into like more and more different opportunities, learning how to play different styles of music, learning how to play funk, learning how to play rock, learning how to play classical jazz, learning how to play swing music, learning how to play classical music in general, um, full full drum set, snare drum, the whole nine. But throughout this process, due to my love of drumming, um, this correlates to the purpose served pyramid exactly. You know what I mean? And this is going to be a little wacky at first, but keep in mind the purpose served pyramid is a means to create a foundation and also a compass to guide you towards whatever your goal is, whatever your purpose is, whatever the vision is. Um, and at the time, I wasn't thinking about basketball. I was playing basketball, but my obsession was drumming, and I took drumming very serious, and I practiced a lot. Due to the fact that I was having fun, I didn't look at it as like a task, and I was drumming on everything. I was when I moved to South Jersey, I would be bringing my drumsticks to class, drumming on my textbooks. Man, people found that hella annoying, but I ain't really care. But I ain't really care. And ultimately, they started forming the first side of the purpose served pyramid. Now, there's four sides. I just named all of them. So, this first side has to do with mental well being, which on this side, for purpose served, for the pyramid, it's improving your purpose, right? So improving your purpose has a lot to do with authenticity. That's the objective. Being being your own self, being comfortable in your own skin, and attaching yourself to a higher means of attainment, to contribute to a whole. So for me with drumming, I was drumming not for myself. At first it was, but ultimately as a kid, as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, I knew that I was playing alongside of um, the people who played the flute, the people who played the saxophone, the people who played the trumpet, other drummers that probably didn't play like a snare drum, but a bass drum, the cymbals, the bass player, all of these things, they all added to the whole. You know what I mean? And over time, with the drumming, I was able to get so good at the music aspect, the musicality of it, that I didn't have to read measure by measure of what the music was. I was so in it that I knew where we was while we were playing. And I can see that other people still needed their note sheets, but I didn't. And I guess even being a drummer, I don't know, to the fullest extent how well, you know what I mean, how involved drummers are in sheet reading for their music. But all the times, like, for me, I can personally say it was a feeling thing. You know what I mean? I felt my way through it. And in the beginning of the video, you know, of this podcast, as you guys can see, that was one of those things where I felt my way through that. you know, and oftentimes, drums, still to this day, I use them as a means to tap into my creativity, to help me find certain things within myself that I can't find, words, ideas, you know what I mean? It gets me loose. Um, and that was like the first thing that did that for me, and then that translated into basketball, you know what I mean, and all of those things that I learned from playing drums, I was able to translate and transmute that into the game of basketball. The same obsessive behavior, the same way that I viewed music and drumming, I viewed basketball. But with that being said, at around the eighth grade, that's when my obsession for drumming started dying out. You know, in high school, the the band director wanted me to be in a marching band and be in a concert band and all of that, but my focus was on basketball, and I could have did both, but I didn't want to do both. I wanted to just simply do one thing. Um, and that's when slowly but surely I stopped drumming, and I would continue to drum for my church when I was in high school, but even that over time that stopped, and I eventually stopped drumming all in all, you know. But I would want to say last year, in the beginning of last year, I needed a way to get my creativity out, and mind you, before that point, I gone honest truth, I didn't drum for like 5 years, 6, 7 years. Actually, yeah, longer than that. So from like 2012, yeah, 2012 to like 2021, I did not drum. you know what I mean? And what you see, um, or heard earlier, that was me at I that was in the summertime, but I learned so much. I had to like relearn so many things. I didn't have the timing down. I didn't have my sticking down. I didn't it was a lot of things, you know what I mean? I had to go back to the basics cuz when I first started drumming, there was a lot of things that I thought I could do and I couldn't. And it's still right now. There's a lot of things that, you know what I mean, I think I can do but I can't, you know. But that's another aspect of me that I'm integrating within myself. But through that, you know what I mean, that opened the door for me to understand unconsciously at the time of, my mental well being. And fast forward now, you know, I have a better understanding of it. Not the best, but a better understanding of it. And through that, through that avenue of drumming and how it led to basketball, basketball was the thing that made me really, really aware of my mental well-being and improving my purpose when it came to becoming a basketball player. I knew that I wasn't like everybody else, and I didn't want to be like anybody in particular. I just wanted to have a mindset similar to Kobe Bryant, but I practiced his play style, but I knew that I wasn't his size or, you know what I mean, like physically or anything. So I had to find my own uniqueness, and that has a lot to do, yet again, with improving your purpose, your mental well-being. Is you would have to, with life in general, you have to find a way to navigate the many challenges and the ups and downs that come with it. And this purpose pyramid is to help you with that. And the next thing on the side of the pyramid is your emotional well being and feeling your purpose, you know. And with this one, it's about having a balance with your emotions, your negative and positive emotions, and not leaning too much on one side either way. Because either way, they're dangerous, and we have both of them for a reason. And the goal is to balance them out. You want to be able to handle emotionally, like in a healthy way, when life, responds in a real cruel way. You know what I mean? I can't help but to laugh sometimes when when things about to get real gritty. But when you have a loss within your family, your friend, your spouse, or any like somebody dies that's close to you, if you get fired from your job, if you have a breakup, if you're experiencing a breakup in the middle of a breakup, this is the side of the pyramid that's associated with you handling that in a healthy way and exercising emotional intelligence, which is something all in all across the board. I'll say out of all of them, these first two, the mental and emotional well being has a lot to do with your inside, what you have input into you, your mind and your heart, and that's feeling and improving your purpose. And with feeling your purpose and improving your purpose, if you take that and use that as an internal experience, it can better help guide you for the other two sides that I'm going to mention soon. But for filling your purpose, we are all guided by, how we feel about things, how our emotions, how we react, how we respond, and ultimately having a foundation for how you respond in regards to your vision. That's what all of this is about. It's just that with these four sides of the purpose served pyramid, they're all in reference to the vision. And the vision, just the, I actually have a definition right in front of my face so you guys won't get confused. So the vision is a mental image of what the future will or could be. And ultimately, the foundation, a purpose served pyramid foundation, is directly correlated with your vision. And the vision is correlated with your well being because how you see your vision is ultimately how you see yourself. How you see your goal is ultimately how you're going to see yourself. Now, you shouldn't, you know, disclaimer, associate, you know, what you do with who you are. It's just an expression of it. It's two different things. But at the same time, majority of people do things because they feel like doing them. They're in that emotional state to do it. But if somebody don't feel like doing anything, it's gonna be really hard for somebody to want to do something. So to understand how you're feeling at any given moment in retrospect to that vision, because that vision is implanted in you, so you're gonna feel like doing that vision. Now, the confidence level when it comes to that that's a different thing. You know what I mean? Um, ultimately, your your vision is going to guide you for where you need to go. It's going to give you clarity. So the stronger your foundation is to this purpose served pyramid, the more clarity it's going to give you for your vision, which is going to, go hand in hand with your journey, with the decisions that you're going to have to make going forward. So you have to fill your purpose out, and you have to not let certain things or emotions override you from what that vision actually is, to pull you away from that vision. And oftentimes, like for an example, when we're being bombarded with stuff on the internet, when we're constantly getting images projected at us, on a screen, fake light, and we're scrolling all day. We're watching YouTube all day, watching videos, literally mindlessly escaping from what's going on. That's going to affect your mental well-being, and that's also going to affect your emotional well-being. For some odd reason, you're going to be feeling a certain type of way and think a certain type of way, but not necessarily understand why or how. You know what I mean? But think about that. You're being removed from yourself. You're being pulled away from yourself. And this thing that you're looking at, you have to sort of put yourself in this projection screen. You got to constantly looking at people, going on vacation, or, just got a new house, got a new car, all of this. And it's like, what about me? Look at the life that I'm looking around. But that's a part of those images that's being flashed at you. But internally, those same things are going on as well while you're, looking at these images. But there's a disconnect, between your vision and yourself. You know what I mean? A lot of people have limited beliefs on, their vision and the capabilities of their vision, and if they can actually accomplish it or not. Um, and now that moves me to the third side of the pyramid. All right. So we have our mental well being, emotional well being, and now that leaves us on the financial well being. And for this one, this side is of the pyramid is to create financial behaviors and financial literacy that aligns with the vision. So every single thing for the purpose of the pyramid is aligned to the vision for the roadmap. So all of this connects with you guys. And at the end of the day, shit costs. A lot of us, including myself sometimes, we want handouts, man. We want people to give us things, and we're not willing to make the necessary sacrifices to get to the vision, to get to the destination, to get to the goal. You know what I mean? And along the journey, that's just going to be the case. Oftentimes, like for example, to get if you're going to work to get money, you oftentimes got to spend money to get money. You got to put gas in your car that costs money. You know what I mean? You got to put food in your stomach that costs money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, all of these things. There's there's money involved with them for the most part, and people associate, you know, their success, their dreams, and their aspirations, who they are, they associate it with money. And it's a dangerous thing, but at the same time, it's some truth, but there's some lies into it. Money is an inanimate object, just like a knife is, just like a fork. Um, it doesn't do anything without somebody putting use to it. You get what I'm saying? Because a knife ain't nothing but, you know what I mean, some metal with like a little handle on it, and money ain't nothing but paper. But it's just how people use these things that necessarily, give it life, but learning your financial behavior um is very, very important to that vision, um to align yourself. um, with the right job, right employment opportunities, right educational opportunities that align with the vision. So, all in all, a lot of people also get stuck in a rut of quote unquote doing a job that they hate or that they don't like. But if you was there for a higher purpose? That means that you can possibly shift, the way that you look at this place that you're working. You know what I mean? And instead of just being there because they're giving you money, that's a dangerous, dangerous life to live because time goes, it doesn't stop, it doesn't wait. Change doesn't stop, it doesn't wait. It's gonna keep going, and you don't want to be in the same spot while life is constantly changing and happening around you, but you're not changing with it. It's changing you, but it's not changing you for the better, you know. And lastly, for the purpose of pyramid is social well-being. How you interact with other people, how you interact with your society, how do you interact with the world, and all of this, like I said, is associated with the vision. And the last two that I just mentioned, the social well-being and your financial well-being, that's more of an outwardly thing rather than the mental and emotional well-being was more of a inwardly thing. The first two, pretty much dictates the other two, and it can't be vice versa. To be quite honest, how the money you receive is going to affect how you think and how you feel, but also how you think and how you feel is going to affect how you spend and treat this money. You know, also, society, your community is going to affect how you think and feel, but also how you think and feel is going to affect your community as a whole. And ultimately, at the point of the pyramid, and that's why the symbolism is within a pyramid, because a pyramid starts off with a wide foundation, but ultimately it's coming to a point. um and the point is literally everything that you're doing is for the vision, a mental image of what the future will or could be. you know Now, unlike the first one, that I talked about before on a previous podcast episode with the roadmap, with the three requirements: the vision, the destination, and the journey. The vision, the destination has all it needs is like a plan for you to get there. The vision is deeper than that. This is more so pertaining, outside of your interest in your specialties. You know what I mean? Through the interest in the specialties, I've been able to understand what the bigger picture is, you know, and more so, it's how am I grounded in this world around me? How is the world around me affecting me? You know what I mean? And ultimately, realizing how important I am to the whole and how the whole is important to me. You know what I mean? It's a collective system, and ultimately you want to see that. You want to see yourself within that and see the potential that you have within that, and also a basis that you can live your everyday life to practice well-being. And to practice well-being is not to negate stress, living a stress-free life or being happy all the time. uh, Pretty much is the handle when things go good, and when things is not so good, how the hell do you still handle that? You know, instead of just trying to act like things, don't happen. That's bad in the world. Like, you know what I mean? People don't ain't out here getting freaking killed and kidnapped and dying from all types of diseases and you know the cruelty of the world. Yeah. So pretty much, that's just the foundation, um, for your well being. And all of this is on the Purpose Served website. that I have up there. You can find that through the Purpose Serve Universe or directly in the links below. I'm going to have the link to everything that I'm saying on how to access these things, and also some things that you can look up to possibly guide you if you're looking for more information in this regard, you know. But ultimately, today's episode was centered around your vision and how to have a foundation for your vision to build up and, you know, keep exploring your potential, and also knowing how to maneuver through the many stressful battles that life, you know, give you. You can find joy, you can find contentment, you can find so many creative avenues through your well-being, you know. And on the next podcast episode, I'm going to be talking about the coal system and how to integrate your purpose into the world and to your community. So just to give you know, a recap of this podcast and the previous one. So today we talked about the vision, the purpose served pyramid, and you know the four different ways that you can serve your purpose in regards to your vision, and you can fill your purpose, you can improve your purpose, you can manage your purpose, and you can express your purpose. And these four has to do with your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, your financial well-being, and your social well-being. Practical things that you can use to assist you on your journey to serve your purpose. And before this was talking about that plan of action um, to get to that destination. So on the next podcast episode, we will be diving into the journey aspect, the last out of the three, and also like I said, we're gonna have special guests coming up, especially pertaining to the manager purpose, financial well-being. Our guest is directly going to be pertaining to that right there, and what you can do to manage your financial behavior and create financial literacy. So tune in for that. I love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, man. We did another one. We did another one. All right, serve your purpose, man. Treat the purpose as if it's the goal. And I just butchered that. I can't talk. Here we go again. But serve your purpose, man. Y'all know what I mean, man. I'm out of here, man. Deuces, man.